I wanted to believe them. I really did. I saw the patch notes, I saw the community hype, and I went into this new winter update genuinely very optimistic. But after sinking a few hours into this new patch, I have to be brutally honest with you, the whole thing feels like a bad prank. They fixed some things, sure, but the core experience, it's fundamentally more or less the same thing you've been playing for the past 2 months in Battlefield 6. So welcome to my first impressions video of the Winter Offensive update, what changed, what didn't change, and what was left out in the patch notes. Let's head into the video now, but before we do that, if you guys are still enjoying some Battlefield 6 content, likes and subscriptions are highly appreciated. Thank you so much. Let's get into it. The first thing that happened to me where I knew that I'm not gonna be a happy camper is when I logged in today this morning to the Winter Offensive update. Yet again, all my settings were reset. Luckily for me, I have kept my Prof Sale profile from my documents folder saved just for those cases. So consider this your warning if you're watching this video from work and you are planning to play the game once you get home, your settings will most likely be reset, so do back up your files before you actually log into the game. You can let the game update and then put your files inside there. This is the best way to do it, so you can actually go and play the new content immediately without having to deal with the reset of the settings. I've checked Reddit and other social medias, people are really not happy they keep resetting settings every update. I'm not sure why that's happening, but just keep in mind it's happening still. With this update came a brand new limited time game mode called Icelock Empire State. You can play it on multiple game modes. The main shtick of this event is that the health regeneration is basically non-existent here. You're dying to freezing temperatures when you're playing this game mode, which means you will have to find a heat source to actually warm yourself up. If you ever played Tom Clancy's The Division 1, it's basically like the survival mode copied from that game inside this limited time game mode. You cannot regenerate health any other way other than being at those barrels. If you ask me, it's basically hardcore with a few nuances attached to it. I played this game mode for maybe 2 or 3 games and I was out. For me personally, it truly wasn't very fun because the time to kill in this game is still extremely fast. Empire State is still a very unpredictable map with a lot of angles to take care of, and just not having health regeneration doesn't feel good to me inside this game. I believe that hardcore was better in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, so if they were looking to recreate hardcore elements for this game mode, I believe that largely they failed. The visibility on the map is also significantly worse than it was on the original Empire State. Now you have all the debris fields from the original map included with these little snowstorm effects that are happening all the time. Additionally, along with those effects, your screen will also have these ice elements on it when you are freezing to death, really blocking your field of vision, which I found to be really annoying. On top of that, that effect when your screen is freezing is extremely loud. It was like ear-piercingly loud. In some cases, it's even louder than the new fixed footsteps that did in this update. We're gonna get to the audio from the footsteps just in a minute. If you're somebody who enjoys more tactical element to Battlefield, and by tactical I mean you have to find a trash barrel to regenerate health, if that is your type of thing, then you might love this event. For the rest of us who like just more classic Battlefield 3 BF4 style infantry, this is a pretty big annoyance. So I was out of this event pretty fast and just went on to play regular game modes of Battlefield 6. Some people are reporting noticeable much worse performance in this patch. Trigger BF, a fellow content creator, said worst possible timing, getting noticeable stuttering on the new Battlefield 6 update. Zero performance issues in 400 hours of playtime, and this happens right before the Elite Series tournament tomorrow. Please hotfix ASAP. I'm pretty sure that's not gonna happen because I believe the developers went on holiday now, so I think the tournament tomorrow most likely is gonna be played on this new stuttery patch, let's call it that. I personally didn't have that much problems myself. I will mention though, if you are playing on PC, I did not update to the new NVIDIA driver with the new physics configuration thing they had a couple of days ago. I still have the driver before that one. So maybe it's a new driver if you are stuttering that's causing that, but it's most likely the update and the driver combined if you are using an NVIDIA RTX card. So do also keep that in mind. I'm not sure how it's performing on the AMD cards if you do have those. Alright, so the new content isn't very impressive. They have resetted our settings and there is noticeable stuttering for some people in the new update. So what about the huge fixes they said happened with this update, which should be audio, netcode, and visibility. Let's start with audio. I'm very happy to report that audio in this update does appear to be better. You will hear footsteps of people who are sneaking behind you more often now. But is it fully fixed? It is definitely not. I still had instances of people just making zero sound. Most noticeably, however, it happens with vehicles. So silent tanks are most definitely still a thing, unfortunately, guys. I'm not sure why they didn't test the vehicle sounds a bit more. I'm pretty sure if they went into a LAV just once on any of the map available in either Escalation, Breakthrough or Conquest, they would have noticed that the LAV still doesn't make much sound. What about the netcode? The netcode largely feels the same to me, to be honest. I'm still dying behind cover, I'm still getting desynced. It takes more than one update to fix the whole netcode problems. Look at Battlefield 4, it took over a year and a half to fix that game's desync and netcode problems. It feels a little bit better in some areas, but you will still get one framed by, for example, controller players who are using TR7. You will die in one frame, you will get desync. It's still very much a thing, but dying behind cover happens a little bit less. So small improvements in those areas for sure, but don't expect something huge, game-changing here over this winter update. And finally, I saved the visibility for last because I believe the visibility is, in my opinion, the exact same it was on the launch build of Battlefield 6. Nothing really changed with the visibility. As I mentioned on that time-locked event that happened with this update, the visibility on that is actually worse than it used to be. What about the vanilla maps then, Ace? Well, still, the visibility on those maps is still pretty terrible. So I would say visibility improved maybe 5 to 10% at most. It's still probably the biggest problem with Battlefield 6 currently. Audio is better, the netcode is a little bit better, and visibility is still pretty much not very good. Which is why I came to the conclusion that this update was just a pretty big nothing burger 2 months after the launch of the game. I expected a little bit more, because when we look at the content we received with this update, which was this limited time event mode, a couple of skins, a pickaxe, no really new weapons, no new maps, no new vehicles, no reworks to any of the vehicles. Remember, this patch had absolutely zero vehicle changes. I was left a little disappointed for the final phase of Season 1, especially considering it's Christmas time. I just hoped for freaking Santa to give me a bit more better vehicles and maybe better fixes in the visibility department. Finally, what I saved for last is Breakthrough is becoming basically unplayable for the defenders, just as I have predicted in my previous videos when I talked about the vehicle disposition changes they did on many of the maps. I played New Sobek City just for testing purposes as a defender, and guys, on the second sector you will now face 2 of the Bradleys they already had, plus an Abrams tank. But it gets even better. If they capture the second sector and they have all those 3 vehicles alive from the previous sector, they get another M1 Abrams. And remember, New Sobek City does not feature a defensive tank anymore. So that one Lonely Leopard you would get as a defender on that map is completely gone. On the last sector of New Sobek City, you are defending against 4 vehicles, the same way you are defending against 4 vehicles on Liberation Peak. So they basically transformed New Sobek City to a new Liberation Peak. Defense, do yourself a favor. If you get on defense, just leave on New Sobek City. Actually, leave it on most maps. It's borderline unplayable. I would recommend that if you are a Breakthrough enjoyer, just play a little bit more Escalation. Breakthrough is truly, in my opinion, not very good this patch. And with that being said, that basically sums up this pretty, meh, nothing burger update that happened for the final phase of Season 1. I hoped for more, but I'll take the fixes that I brought here. The audio is a little bit better. If you enjoyed watching it, then please consider leaving a like and a subscription, and I'll see you guys in the next Battlefield 6 video. This is Ace signing out. Have a good day, and bye bye.